Hey guys, Gaijin Goombah here. Uh, it's like 6 in the morning, and I can't sleep, because this has been on my mind all last night, and pretty much all night through the following day. This is just a general response to the whole over-sexualized Samus thing, especially when it comes to Samus and the new Smash Brothers. And it's probably good that I'm talking about this while completely exhausted, because otherwise I'd probably make a much bigger rage stink about it than I need to, but I still feel like this needs to be said. So one of the things that people are getting in a really big tiffy about is the fact that this is other Em Samus, and apparently, Samus and other M was a giant squawking baby that just never could shut up. So, okay, I can kind of get that, but something you guys need to understand twofold, and I've already talked about this in an episode of Game Exchange a long time ago. I'm firmly convinced that Samus's English droning voice came from mislocalization practice, looking at Japanese Samus's stoic, unfeeling words, and how, in a Japanese setting, that's actually showing signs of control and power, where, in a Western sense, that's not, because we are more comfortable with displaying our own emotions. So there's that. The other thing to keep in mind, and everyone is complaining about this, and I don't think anyone's really dug too hard on the subject or the subject matter. People are still complaining at the fact that Samus freaked out at Ridley. Okay, here's something you guys need to understand. Other M was built upon the canon of a retcon comic about Samus. Is that dumb and stupid? Yes, but it still happened. Team Ninja took that based canon, the fact that she's got post-traumatic stress disorder because Ridley killed her parents in front of her, and she still has problems with it. It is not the same Samus that we know, so I honestly think we need to stop putting her up there and possibly accept her as a different kind of character. Whereas before, she didn't have any character, which was okay by our standards. I can understand that. But now, she's got a different backstory and a different characterization now. If you want to know what I'm talking about, you can probably go anywhere online and find these comics translated. But even in that sense, she was freaking out because she had already killed Ridley, and Ridley was coming back from the dead. I don't know about you, but if the monster that killed my parents that I actually killed came back from the dead after me, I'd probably be freaking out too. So the other thing that's really been just jabbing at my tabby, I don't even know what that means, that's just how awake I am. Why is it that we complain that Nintendo doesn't do anything mature, and I use mature in big giant air quotes, yet when they do something mature, we all get in a huffy tissy fit about it? I don't get that. I really, really don't. Like, people that I respect kind of went off on the fact that new Smash Bros. Samus is now in heels and has bigger boobs. To me, whoop-de-freaking-do. They could have done a lot worse with that. I'm gonna be mentioning Curb a whole lot because he did this Curblog thing, which this is mostly a response to. And his argument is, it's still Samus. She's still hyper-athletic and kick tons of ass. Why is this such a relevant thing? And the answer to that, I don't know. Maybe we'll figure that out as I keep talking in a sleepy haze. On the topic of spandex and heels. You know, this is what I don't get, and this is what bugs me about most points that feminists try to bring up. If Samus isn't allowed to be in spandex and heels, then like 95% of all superheroes who are male shouldn't be in spandex. If you want to play on a level playing field, if you want to play with equality, how about we play with equality? I'm actually legitimately kind of pissed off at the fact that every single superhero has like this gigantic barrel chest and this tiny waist and is ultra strong, and the main argument that I get for that is, well, it was conceived by men to make other men feel good and to give them a fantasy. No, I don't think so. Well, yeah, maybe it was to give them a fantasy, but you know what? That's still an unattainable image of male beauty or manhood. That's still sexist. That's still unobtainable beauty. And even though it was made by men for men, it's still unfair. I don't care at the fact that people are saying, well, men made it. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it fair. How is that fair? That's like, God. I mean, if we're gonna go by that logic, then shouldn't a bunch of women be really, really pissed off at fashion magazines? Because that's portraying an unobtainable rank of beauty for women, and that's made by women. So why isn't there a gigantic uproar about women portraying women as unrealistic? Sorry, I'm mumbling a lot. I'm really tired, but holy cow, this is just something I cannot get out of my head unless I get it out here. something that Curb asked, and asked profusely in his Curb blog, and I'll put a link in the description. He asked the question of, is it wrong for him that his first reaction was that he was excited to see and play as Samus, because especially in her Zero Suit form, even with the rocket heels, she was still a badass and looked totally fun to play. No, good sir, I do not blame you at all, because your reaction to that was the most neutral, human, and respectful reaction for the character. In fact, I wish that your reaction to the character was the reaction that everyone gave to the character, because that's what it should have been. Like, my response to the fact that Samus had rocket heels, I looked at that and thought, it kind of makes sense that they're heels, because if you're gonna get rocket propulsion, you kind of need, like, a long tube in order to rocket up in. Like, I looked at that and I didn't think that was sexualized. Shoot, the micro heels and the other Em Samus, Zero Suit was more sexualized than this. These are gigantic clunky heels. These aren't cute. They're big and bulky and full of volatile rocket fuel. Sorry, it's just that depravity of sleep. But it's true. It's just gigantic clunky heels. They're not very attractive in the first place. And he made a very good point. Everyone is calling out for blood that Samus has been, oh, she's nothing but a fan service character now. They made her boobs all Soul Calibur-y. I can't even remember the quote anymore. She's nothing but a sexual icon. Dude, she's been a sexual icon ever since her conception. Now, Curb goes on a much more detailed and sophisticated, not rant, but a talk about this, but he's completely right. Guys, when you play the game, even from the very first game on the NES, if you beat it quickly, if you beat it like in 2 hours or something like that, the faster you beat the game, the more naked you got to see Samus in the first place. She's always been an over-sexualized character. But we didn't see that because she was always a badass, because she had this really awesome kick-ass armor. That kind of drove me crazy, and Curb was completely in the right when he brought that up. So here's the last thing, and this is probably the one thing that people haven't even begun to consider. Why is it that sexy, attractive girls are not allowed to kick ass? Why is that? We in our nerd culture, still to this day, are looking at attractive women with either disgust or with big questioning eyebrows. And it's like, if a girl comes out and says that she's a gamer, and she shows that she's a gamer, you know, it's none of this fake chewing on plastic thing. It's very legit. And there are legit hot chicks who are really into gaming. We still chastise them. And I won't assume that we chastise them because in our youth, any beautiful woman that we try to approach would, in our minds, immediately reject us because of the hobbies that we had. You know, never mind the fact that was back in, like, junior high and high school when we were all so very intelligent and we all knew how the world worked, right? So, I don't get it. Why is Samus not allowed to be attractive? Why is it that she cannot be a badass and be attractive at the same time? That's probably the one thing that I've been wrestling around and struggling with. You know what? I welcome this. I welcome the fact that Zero Suit Samus has this new look. I like it. And you know why? Because it's showing that even women that are super attractive are more than just a body. They're more than just plus-size boobs. They're more than just high-heeled characters. And I think if we could all be a little bit like that, if we could all go in with Curb's perspective, thinking about, does this character kick ass? Is this character fun? Is this character going to be amazing? And if the answer to all of those questions is yes, why the heck does it matter what she looks like? We all look different. You know, kick-ass women don't have to be either rail thin or completely muscular. There can be super sexy ladies that really rock your socks. So, I don't know. I am in full agreement with Curb on this issue. If we could start looking at characters for how much they rule instead of how they look, if we could stop being as superficial as the mass media that we nerds tend to chastise, then maybe we could all get over a lot of issues that really in the long run aren't as important as we are making them out to be. You know, I really wonder what Samus, if Samus was real, I wonder what sort of stress she'd be going under right now because of how she looks. You know, if we looked at her and we were like, oh, you're just trying to get attention, and then she does like a triple axel reverse backflip kick into your teeth. I mean, that's what I would expect. So how about instead of just judging Samus on how she looks, we judge her about how much ass she kicks. And apparently, if the footage of the next Brawl game is to be believed, I think that's going to be the case. So, I swore to myself that I wasn't gonna bring Goomba Rage back on the main channel, and I don't intend to still, but I really wouldn't count this as a Goomba Rage, because this is a matter of our culture that still irks me to this day, at least when it comes to the US and I suppose other Western countries as well. It's a matter of really trying to figure out where the problems are when it comes to sexism, both for females and males. And while males, I will admit, do have it better, there's still some parts about being a dude that really suck. And I truly believe that if we as a society can come together and look at both sides of the issue, I think we could get to equality a lot faster. But that's just me. That's just me at freaking 6 o'clock in the morning rambling on about something that I can't get out of my head. So, anyway, that's all I'm gonna say. So, until next time, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.